even have right prosperity. Prosperity FX, the new Vista. Honestly, this product issues a lot of business, and they're also issuing writing numbers pretty quick. So we'll talk a little bit about this today, but I'll hand these out. All right, so welcome everybody who's streaming. My name is Mark Mead. We do this bullpen every single week. The idea is to strengthen you in a lot of different areas, whether we're doing phone script or in-home or way to approach a client, how to close a husband and a wife, no sales, no sits, how to deal with, having a bad week and bouncing back from a bad week, hiring. So we cover a lot of different things. I'm going to start off by going through the numbers for the week, the issue paid numbers, really month to date. So we're currently in week 3 of the month. No, is this week 4? This is week 4, official. Wow. We have numbers through week 2, so Friday we'll have week 3's numbers. But October's a 5-week month, so anytime you look at the month, it's based on Thursdays. How many Thursdays are in the month? 5 weeks. 4 weeks. That's 4 5-week months a year, 1 every quarter. I'm going to go through month to date, 14,000 and above, top 20. Samuel Moberly, 14,105. Joanna Perez Pavon, 14,228. Carlos Reynoso, 14,244. Jesse Parley, 14,739 paid for the month through 2 weeks. Jason Aguilar, 14,862. Evanji Glinsky, don't kill me, Evan. That's how you go by Evan. What's up, Evan? 14,874. Jeff Beefy, 16,302. Jeff had a huge week 3. He should pay like 35 grand in 1 week. Nice. He had one home where he stacked a bunch of final expense policies up to the tune of 25 G's, which if you're in the field long enough, you'll run into these. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just lovely. But 16,302. Kathy Allen, good work. 16,469 paid for the month. Vin T, Vin's a beast, coming on, 16,593 through 2 weeks. Jose G, good job, 17,773. Orlando P, good work, 18,239. Cindy S, 18,313, good work. Stephanie C, 18,676. So when you look at 2 weeks through the month and someone's at 18,000, just project that over 5 weeks, and you're talking about not like 9,000 a week. Chances are they'll do over 40,000 for the month. They might not hit 9,000 every week, but chances are they're on pace. And most people are looking at a month like October, which kicks off the 4th quarter, as the momentum they want to finish the year. So most people are dead serious right now. So you'll see that as we get up there. Pete up, 18,920. Nicholas C, 22,015. Mamba Mentality. Kyrie J, good job, 22,294. Remy A, tremendous. Remy's been coming on strong. Good work, 24,805. Rob Richmond, 28,281. Stephen Giordano, 48,514. And number 1 for the month of October, 2 weeks in, Jonathan Porcina, 50,351. So if anyone's concerned, you can sound the alarm. 50,000 in 2 weeks is pretty strong. That's good. Now that's real money. That's paid money. So if anyone's confused about that, Francine, that means you got paid 50 G's in 2 weeks. Now we go, can anybody do that? What's the answer?
Yes.
Why? Work. There's no discriminator. It's just work. You know what I'm saying? So let's go through the agency numbers. 2 weeks in. All right. FL Legacy, Daniel Brown, 18,313. FL Great Lakes, David Pop, 19,499. FL The Way, Gabriel Singh, 27,269 through 2 weeks. FL Shoreline, Francis Docker, 29,160. Jose Grox, FL Momentum, 40,435 through 2 weeks. This might be his first month overseas sales manager. Alex Labrija, FFL Third Coast, 40,251. Steph Cover, FFL Insure Trust, 48,723. Pushing for VP, Steph. Let's go. Kyrie Joyner, 61,169. Humble Beginnings. FFL Humble Beginnings. Jesse Parley, FFL Avenues, 61,364. FFL 320, Caleb Emerald, 70,245. Okay, Cindy Siddick, felt service before self, they're blowing up. They got a lot of momentum. 85,447. Jonathan Borsina, FL Kings, 89,669. Wayne Carr, Hidden Gems, 92,411. Carlos Reynoso, FL Wisdom, Strength, and Beauty, 116,935. Best month ever, bro. Way to lead. Good work. Give him a round. Steven Giordano, FL Health and Wealth, 154,328. Rob Richmond, FL Apex, 310,319. That's the crack in the top three. Brian Mendenhall, FL Central, 328,212. And number one, FL Universe, Ivan Bedrock, 523,745. A lot of these guys are pushing for their best month ever, which makes sense. And, it's a good thing, like, for us to be not only on these leaderboards and being recognized, but also to be saluting and applauding people who are on these leaderboards and being recognized. Because, as you all know, if you're on these leaderboards that we just read, starting from 14,000 in 2 weeks or 30,000 in 2 weeks as an agency, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. 7,000 2 weeks in a row, we should be doing a lot more high five. Makes sense? Whether they're on your team or not. We're all one big team, and I think that I think if you pay cheering forward, it comes back to you. That's just what I think. You know what I mean? So we have a huge opportunity to embrace the people who are winning in our pursuit of winning. Everyone's here to win. Where you want to be on a Monday at 1 till 6 p.m., right? So we want to embrace the people winning, and we want to push for greatness ourselves. One of the things that we do in the bullpen is we go over these numbers every single week. And the reason why is because these numbers tell us a story, okay? They're going to tell us a lot. These numbers do not lie, Now, every once in a while, we can beat the numbers, and every once in a while, the numbers can beat us. But typically, 52 weeks a year, you can't beat the numbers can't beat you, right? So, Carl, why don't you come on up? Carl Reynoso, your week. Talk to us about your appointments, sits, close ratios, which, by the way, these are great ratios. 12 appointments, 11 sits, 7 close, 7 apps, 10 grand. But I'll let you talk. About it.
Definitely. I'll be right. Yes, 100%. First of all, if you want to go full time all the way, you should be running more than 12. I keep saying every week the reason I'm running low is because wife just got a baby boy, so I'm kind of helping her out. So I'm running kind of part time.
I remember my wife had kids. I ran 30 appointments a week. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Carlos? I'm sorry.
Correct.
Correct.
But starting this week forward, woo, full cylinder.
Everybody hears this? It's on YouTube. By the way, hey, YouTube. My man Carl's the same.
Full cylinder.
Full cylinder. And what's a full cylinder look like for you?
Full cylinder means this times 2.
Yeah.
24 and up to 30.
Well, real quick.
Go ahead.
Your sit ratio amazing this week. So let's
Correct.
talk about that.
Okay.
What happened here where you booked 12 and 11 said, well, I'm meeting with you?
Okay. Well, this is all about feeling comfortable on the phone, talking to the people, leveling with them with the level of energy. Not only that, but make sure that they are there for the appointment. Make sure you repeat it 3 times. Make sure that you tell them to write it in the calendar so they won't forget. Make sure that at the end of the conversation, you remind them again, listen, I'm going to be there Saturday, 10 a.m. Don't forget. Okay? Feeling comfortable on the phone, because people are going to smell your fear. If you are fearful and you don't feel comfortable, they're going to know, and they're going to be like, this might not be real.
How do you get from that fearful place to the place of confidence if you're new?
Getting on the phone, practicing make perfect. Get on the phone, so you're going to get rejections at times, but it's going to come at times where those rejections means nothing to you. You're going to be, hello.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
That's it.
Okay, I love it. And that would be a no for me. Like, if I'm running around here and I got a lot I never really had high show ratios. I'd be like 65%. So if I'm listening to someone who's 93%, I want to know what they're doing. Does that make sense? I always wanted to know what they were doing. So he's just hammering down on the time, the date, everything, so that he's not driving around crazy and people aren't seeing it. So that makes sense.
Correct.
Talk to us about what happened here, close ratio. That's nice.
Close ratio is just about when you are at the home, feel comfortable with them, ask question. My first question is like John Marcella says, why am I here? What are we doing? So, you ask questions and then let them talk, and they're going to tell you what you want to hear, and then you can help the family better. You have to listen to them more than you are talking. Yes, take control, but don't take so much control that you like a dictator in the
Correct.
home.
That's perfect.
So you'll feel comfortable, listen to what they have to say, maintain control of the conversations, and that's it.
What's the fine line between dictatorship and control?
I'll say this is what I say. When you go into a home, be friendly, but be aware of not falling into the friend zone.
Yes, sir. Friends do what?
Nobody likes to buy from friends. That's just what it is.
100%.
And take control, but don't be a dictator. So you have to find the fine line. You have to find the medium in there. And once you find that medium, that's it. You're good.
Okay.
You're on.
So if you come into my house,
Correct.
and I go, all right, man, this is great, man. I don't have a lot of time, so give me some prices. What's going on? What do you say?
First of all, if you don't have time, I can come back some other time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to hear on what I gotta say, since you requested the information, I need 20 to 30 minutes so I can do my job well. Is that fine with you, Mr. Mead?
All right, man, dude, go ahead. But what's the prices?
Well, I have to ask you some questions in order to give you prices. I cannot give you prices if I don't know your health.
Mm-hmm.
So just sit down,
Mm-hmm.
relax, and ask you some questions. Let me do my job, and we'll be out of here as soon as possible.
Let's take control. So you understand, like, he's not a dictator. He's not dictating to me. He understands, like, I'm being a little abrasive, but he doesn't win if he gets abrasive.
Correct.
He wins by taking the wind out of my sails. Relax, have a seat, give me some water, right? Like, just relax. But he's in control.
Correct.
Does that make sense? I want control. But the only way I get control is if I go, okay, I pull out my laptop and start giving out prices. Then what happens, John?
You're done.
You don't get anything,
Might as well just sleep.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's great. And 7 apps for $10,000. So I know next week's going to be 24 because
Right.
you have the right support now at home.
That's right.
It's called mindset. Give this
That's
man a round. Thank you. All right, big friend. 23 appointments, 13-6, 9 closed, 9 apps, 9,700. Great work. He's not in today. Frank D, why don't you come on up? 18 appointments, 9-6, 4 closed, 4 apps, 5,600. Why don't you go over your numbers, kind of give us an insight of the week that was?
All right, the 4. So I ended up sitting with Brandon. So this ratio here, I had 2 people that had cognitive issues,
Okay, got it.
and they sounded healthy and good on the phone when I got there. Family members
Yep.
helped me figure that part out. And then I had 2 really unhealthy felons that were under the age of 40.
Got it.
So
So you're basically saying you have 100% close ratio all the time.
if
When the people,
if I can write you,
when the
I'm
people
gonna
are
write you.
good, 100% close ratio all the time unless there's an issue.
If I can write you, I got you.
Okay, cool.
So the 4 that I did write, 3 were age mortgage protection leads, and 2 of them were 8 o'clock appointments.
Hold on one second. So the felons,
Yes.
what do we write if we have a felon? Anybody know?
I didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
If we have a felon who is in the time frame of not getting insurance because the carriers, they're outside of the time zone question-wise, who do we write? You know?
If they're past it,
If they're inside of it. inside the window.
AIG.
Mutual
Yeah.
home.
Well, they can definitely get AIG, but they're probably not of age, no?
No.
Okay, so if they're above 50, we know, mutual home or what?
Mutual home, they didn't promise.
You can't write, no.
It's $5.
So
I don't
guaranteed advantage, your accidental mutual home,
Okay.
guaranteed advantage. So now the thing is when they're at high risk like that, or high risk to the insurance company, like guaranteed advantage, you can write, they could be in prison, you can write it. Does that make sense? He's like, nice. But like, yeah, you can write that. And here's the thing, if you're in prison, quote unquote, or if you're a felon, like, you know you're a felon. You know you're behind bars. So that means you know you're at a disadvantage. So I'm not coming to you with a product that's less than fair because it's my fault. I'm coming to you with a product that you can get because it's what you can get.
Correct.
So how old are the clients?
37 and 36, I think.
So a 37, 36-year-old who know they can't get insurance because they have some form of risk would be signing up for a accidental guaranteed advantage, accidental death policy. And by the way, under the 50 and under, you can get them return of premium on that policy. You have to have a health license. How many people here don't have a health license? Show of hands. You guys are lazy. You tried to get your life license, make as much. You're ridiculous. How do you not have a health license? Okay. Well, I mean, that's why you don't know this. That's why you don't know the answer to this, Mr. Mo. Guaranteed advantage. You have your health license. Praise God. All right. So guaranteed advantage. They would have been happy to take those policies. You can go up to $500,000 with a return of premium, so it kind of helps the premium amount, but it also gets them a policy with. So I always pitched it as, hey, you're concerned about death. Obviously, we want to get you something that we can get you approved for. This is an accidental policy, but if you outlive it, you get all your money back. So it's like, here's some coverage. We got to get further beyond this date. And when we get further beyond this date, we can do something different. But today you can qualify for this. And if you outlive it, you get your money back. So most people who are compromised would take that. And you might be able to go back and,
I'll go.
yeah,
Go back.
go ahead.
So the 4 that I did write, it was actually 2 mortgage protection and 2 final expense. One of the final expense, lady 83, had a graded policy in place already, was able to get her immediate coverage with America.
Got it.
Added accidental to it, and almost doubled her premium for a slight increase. So
Okay,
I couldn't sell that. I suck at sales. The other one was a prosperity, $10,000 coverage, just a pretty easy plan. The other 2 mortgage protection ones, they were to speed up the amortization, so it was a CBO product. So the way I did it was approach it, shave 5 years off the mortgage
got it.
and pay the house off a little bit early.
So talk to them. So, I mean, does everyone know the pay the house off early close? How to use CBO? So Frank, why don't you describe what you do to help them see more value in the policy?
Okay.
And just be specific.
So you find out the terms of the loan. So it was a 30-year loan, for example, $200,000 original loan amount. If you Google mortgage loan amortization calculator, you just put in the terms very quickly, and then you look at year 25. And at year 25, you can see what the balance will be. And this example was about $50. So what I did was take that $50,000 divided by 25 years, and then divided by 12, and that gave me my monthly payment. So I was able to try to find a marriage between covering the full loan amount and then making sure that the payment was accurate enough in that sense. So I just showed them a way to pay off the mortgage a little bit faster. If they had a little bit of a sudden windfall and they could do it on their own, they still get their money back. So it was a no-brainer for them.
All right. Shanae, you have any questions about that? Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense so far.
So if you don't have an amortization schedule an amortization calculator on your phone, you need to download one. I kept probably 2 or 3 at any given time. There's Mortgage Plus, there's Pro Mortgage, there's Zillow Mortgage.
Zero, I got this.
All of these amortization calculators will let you work with it. Just punch the stuff in. and they'll bring up an amortization account, tell you how much is left at the end of the loan to pay off in 20 years, 25 years, and you can use the cash back as a way to bring value to the policy. A lot of people do. The thing about the instant in their life leads is you're going to get people that are looking for life insurance, right? But they could be looking for life insurance for a lot of different reasons. They could be looking for term insurance just because they heard they need to have one. They could be looking for term insurance because they have a mortgage. So whenever you're sitting with someone like that, a life insurance lead, you just want to make sure you bring some sort of value to the situation. And usually cash back would do it if they qualify. You found that, right? Like they just eat cash back out your hands.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't thinking mortgage, also you can tie the debt to the policy real easily. And then put a cash back on it and you got something calling for life.
Yep.
So
Like that always pays.
100%. So give them a round of applause. All right, so I'll bring you up last, Steve, and then we'll go into it. And Mazzella, why don't you come on up? $21,000 a week. Give him a round. Hey, you know what? Before you get started, $21,000. Is that good or bad?
That's good.
It's exceptional. So do me a favor. Next time you go on Facebook and want sympathy for not sitting with people, let's not do it. Only because, look, there's people in here that would love to write what you're writing. You're a Hall of Fame producer, right? So, or soon to be a Hall of Fame producer. So let's not look for
The reason
a
why.
little extra love on Facebook.
Let me tell you my explanation.
Your explanation for begging for a hug
Yeah,
on a Sunday afternoon?
because I just need everybody to know this business is all about mindset.
Yeah.
Even guys like Steve G and Ivan, I'm not even gonna put myself in that class, but I do well.
Yeah.
We have bad weekends.
Yeah.
They need to know
Yeah.
that we have bad
And
weekends.
I agree. The only thing I would probably do, so if anybody wants to, this is school we teach, it's okay. We're all good. We're brothers. Don't ask for the help. There you go. And is it gonna be okay? Please tell me. Like, hey guys, 12 appointments, 7 sits, 1 closed. We all have bad weeks. I'm back at it Monday. Boom. Fair enough?
And that's still,
Love you.
that one close is still a majority of what people make.
Which is great. So can we just have some perspective? That's all. So now, what's your 21 grand deposited? Tell us a little bit about your week. That was because you.
That was.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, John.
It's 2 Z's, 2 L's, right?
Yes.
Good.
Combination of a lot of final expense, a lot of mortgage. I did very well in one house. I had 3 applications, tried to put it with Mutual of Omaha. She gave me a couple of medications. I thought we would be able to do it. Unfortunately, she left one medication out that was prescribed to her in 2016. So
What kind of lead was the lead that you did 3 in 1 house?
it was a mortgage.
Okay.
Mortgage lead. But I have been writing policies with the internet life leads.
Sure.
But those leads, you don't know, like you said earlier.
You didn't get anything.
You know, some people want $500,000 term, some
Right.
people want final expense, so.
Hey, real quick, what is your psychology to writing multiple policies in the home? Because you do it quite a bit. So some people, they go and they get one app, they even with a husband and wife, they just make sure to get one and run. What's your psychology to writing multiple apps in the home?
A majority of the policies that I write is mortgage protection, right, assuming it's not final expense.
Okay.
My next question is, after I get them approved with whichever way I go, do you have your final expense taken care of? A
Okay.
majority of the people say no. I'm like, a $10,000 policy, assuming like in the mid-60s, totally healthy, it's like $30 a month.
Right.
So I just throw it out there.
That's great.
I'm like, yeah, Mutual of Omaha, yeah, it's like $32. And that's what happened in one of these cases where after I got her the HMS, I said, do you have your final expense taken care of? What happens after this policy? I mean, do you have anything? She's like, actually, I don't. I'm like, well, Mutual of Omaha, I mean, you didn't qualify for the Index Universal, but you'll be good for the Living Promise. I mean, it's like $32. And
How many people use that technique? Show of hands, real talk. You use the suggestive. I'll be honest with you, I never used it. I was scared to death. I just wanted my policy. And I was excited. Now, I would write husband, wife, but I didn't ask about the final expense. But he's doing it, and it's working. So how many people think that would be something that they could add to their game? Because the more policies in the house, the more the policies stay on the books. Facts. So I actually am learning, I like that, you know what I mean? Like, I like that a lot. I feel like Porcina does that too, but go ahead, brother, keep going.
I've said this 100 times. You know, when you walk into a house, it's, what can I do for you? Why am I here? So there's two ways to go about it. You know, you have some people that want to just take while you're there. Listen, I'm only here for mortgage insurance. I'm not here to replace a policy. I'm not here for this. And then you go back for the ancillary business at a later time after the policy is written, approved. They get their policy. But I'm not afraid to ask questions. I mean, what else can I do for you? I mean, can we insure the dog? I mean, what are we doing here? Like even like our kids were at the table. They were watching a football game that they videoed. So I was just trying to interact with the family, and kid's taking his real estate license test. I'm like, well, listen, can I call you next week and talk about life insurance?
Yeah.
So I'm going back there to write the husband, because the husband wasn't home, and possibly talk about life insurance business for the kids as well. But yeah, I mean, I just ask questions, you know, I mean, you're in the house, they're giving you their social. They're done, they're open.
Right. No, that's great. And 12 closed for 16 applications, $21,000. What is it about, like, you not having a number? Like, some people have a number. They hit that number, they close up shop for the week.
Nah, I was in a car accident prior to this week, so these numbers were like zero. Like, I didn't do no business last week. Like, when I left the office here 2 weeks ago, I was in a car accident, I was done, I was depressed, I got Geico and all these things I gotta take care of, closing on my house. So I just came out really strong.
Okay, got it.
Last week. But yeah, I mean, listen, we can make as much money as we want. There's nobody stopping us. The only person that could stop you from making as much money as you want is you.
Correct.
And if you're gonna stop yourself from making money, shame on you.
Right.
I was poor 2-3 years ago. Like, I ain't going back there. There's no reason to stop. I mean, we could dial until, like, sometimes I dial at 10 o'clock at night. Oops, sorry, got caught up. Go back tomorrow.
Right. So literally, you have the ability to print it. I mean, anybody can do it, so why not? Why not you? So thanks, Jim. All right, so Joe Nygaard, I'm gonna shout out some of the first-time writers: Scrimantis Gomez, Sheila Samuel, Joseph Nygaard. Their first-time writing business. So 5 appointments, 5 sips, 5 closed, 7,800. Not a bad program. I sat with them last week. They missed some apps, you know, that they could have easily got, but it's just new writers' jitters, right? So, you know, so Steve, I'm going to bring you up. Everybody give Steve Plord a round of applause. The longest drive from Virginia to Jersey in history. But why don't we talk about your week? And then what I want to do is kind of get into some of the things that, you know, how long have you been with us?
Since April.
Since April.
So,
License?
yes,
Okay, got it. Cool. So jump into your week. Oh, you got hammered.
I got hammered.
All right, talk about it. Talk about it. We got to learn from either side. We can learn from this side. We can learn from this side.
Let me put it to you this way. I was doing part-time. In my second week part-time, I made $5K.
Got it.
So that's bad.
All right, we'll go through it. So how to go down.
Yeah, so first off, I made a realization that this week is not over. So I can redeem myself for the next week. But anyways, no.
It's the best part about a bad day is tomorrow. The best part about a bad week is next week. The best part about what we do is a day can change it, a week can change it. So this is perfectly fine. Dude, you've been on fire. You know, you've been writing $10, $11, $14,000. It is what it is. So we're not here we just want to learn.
Absolutely. So I would say for me, I had a conversation with another agent and just wanted to discuss with him some of the things that might have caused that bad week. Of course, number one, I missed a day. I didn't work one day. So you lose momentum, and you lose money. All of this equals the same.
So do most people realize why we put 1 dial day and 2 run days? Why we set it up, 1 dial day, 2 run days, 1 dial day, 2 run days? Anybody, take a guess? 2 days back to back creates momentum. It literally creates momentum. I remember having 1 bad day, 1 good day. Or 1 good day backed by 1 good. It's so difficult to go dial, run, dial, run, dial. Like I'm not fresh enough. I don't have you lose what you learn in the field in a couple days. Like your swagger, your confidence, it can go in a couple days.
Went to me this weekend.
Right? I mean, it happens to the best of us. I've heard people that have made $50,000 in a month say that, have 2 bad weeks in a row and say they're going to be getting evicted from their home. It's not true. It's just the way the mind works when it's not going well. We're all independent contractors. We all want to do well, and it's like, that's why you need, so the back-to-back days is very intentional. It's to create momentum. It's also, if you have 1 bad day, tomorrow's another day. If you have 1 good day, you're trying to kill it the next day. So go ahead.
And so that was one thing. The other thing that I think was really insightful was I came off of an incredibly great week, best one ever. So I went from my best one to my worst one in no time flat. And I think got overconfident, cocky, and also routine. I got routine, and routine is good if you for the system of FFL. But routine is not good for the clients. If you're with the clients, you don't need to be routine.
Break that down.
Well, I would say when I'm sitting with a client, I got a lot of green lights, but guess what? They weren't green. I'm a very straightforward, hey, you asked for life insurance, cool. So let's see if we can get you approved. Oh, you got great meds and medical history here. So this looks great. So you understand this is to help protect your family, right? Yes. Okay, good. So everything's green lights. Don't get caught up by those green lights because they're not necessarily green.
Okay, so
I think a lot of times people answer the yes because they want you gone, or they just want to find out how much it is. I mean, we sort of do tell them that, hey, let's just see if we can get you approved. So that's why they answer in green. So I think what Carlos did different is when he sat with the people, he cared about the people. And he said, and he just asked lots of questions and he let them talk. I love that. Let them talk, because guess what? The conversation is going to go in a direction you're not prepared for. And that's actually where you want it to go.
Correct. 100%. True. So what would you say is getting the right green light? What does that look like? What does that sound like?
You're right. I need this. I have yet to really, I've seen some people say it, but to say it like, how quickly can we get this done? Let's get going. I've never felt that urgency.
Right.
So it's something I really absolutely need to be focusing on is meeting their needs and helping them to feel the pain of not that we're trying to make them painful, but if they don't recognize that they need it, then they're not going to buy it.
Okay, so sometimes there's 3 categories. There's serving the client. There's getting paid. And then there's the scoreboard, the numbers. I'd be lying to you if I said I was not caught up in these before. Okay? Of course I want to serve the client. Love that scoreboard, man. Of course I want to serve the client. Love getting paid. And sometimes in the routine of running appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment, you could easily get caught up in any one of these 3. Typically what I found is when I'm off, I miss this. Does that make sense? I'm either moving too fast. The scoreboard allows you to move fast. You're moving way too fast. Getting paid, you kind of know you're going to get paid. So that doesn't move you as quick as the scoreboard. But it still isn't the driver in how you're going to help this family. the driver and how you're gonna help this family is serving the client. But to a man and a woman, most people in here, if you've run a lot of business, you've gotten caught in somewhere in here, right? And any time that I went on 5 in a row and haven't sold, back it up. Back it up. Let's not forget why you're here. You know what I'm saying? And then I just get back into them as opposed to my routine. Like a lot of times the routine becomes robotic and we're not really sizing. It's not a one size fits all. It's a literal, it's like, it's a tailoring. We're actually tailoring the suit to the people we're sitting with. Does that make sense? So would you say this kind of depicts?
Perfect.
Okay, kind of what? And so what's good here is anytime you're here, because sometimes you could be doing all three and it works like mad, it just boom. You're not really thinking about it. You're just kind of moving. Yes, you're serving, but and anytime you help them with life insurance, they got served. But anytime you don't, they didn't. So, but this is always going to be the reason that you put up a lot of numbers. This is always going to be the reason. It's never really going to be these. You know, these are a byproduct of this. And sometimes we get happy or cocky or greedy or hungry, and we put these ahead of this, and it does show. And there's not a top producer I know that hasn't done this. There's not a top producer that I know that hasn't went on 5 to 7 no sales, you know, in 9 sits and wonder if their life is coming to an end. Does that make sense?
Something else to add to this picture of my numbers is I started a new lead start at the instance this last run, and it's not, we can't fault the lead, you know, we have to learn the lead, but we shouldn't fault the lead. And so because it was a new lead, it was one of the first run times where I could have written 20K or 20K, you know, because of I know what these people qualified for. They could have, Mutual of Omaha, America, almost all of them. And so I'm frustrated that I missed that opportunity, but at the same time, it's a lesson. It's a lesson well learned, you know.
Yeah.
And so I would sit down, and not only were there green lights, but which were not green lights, but also it was so easy. And I got caught up with, this is so easy. I can just do this. I can just do this, you know. Let's see, we got time. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it's all in this do it mentality as opposed to, hey, I'm here for you because you wanted me to help.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to give you the platform a little bit. I want you to kind of get into your story a little bit, how you found us, and then kind of your ascension. I remember early the amount of activity that you, like part-time, you had your job. By the way, we don't tell people to quit their job when they haven't had the confidence or the ability to replace it, because I just think that's evil. But you quit kind of on your own volition. You kind of just felt like you made it to that place. I'm never really the one to advise that unless you're killing it. So I'm like, what are you doing? But you kind of just bit down on the activity and started putting up 25, 30 appointments a week, which you learned a lot real quick. You also have no problem calling in the home. Zero problem calling in the home. But that speaks to someone who's hungry. So talk to them a little bit about that. Sure. And then I'll chime in if I need to.
Okay, so I was actually in sales as well before this, and what I was doing was selling a tangible product, something you could touch, feel, point to, what have you. And so that is an interesting factor in this is insurance you can't touch, feel, and handle. Okay, so that has been an eye opener for me, is learning that the process is different. But anyways, back to what you're saying there. I was selling some farm equipment, John Deere equipment specifically, And I did that for 9 years. I was the top salesperson in the company, in the store that I was working at. So I found FFL because, number one, I had to look for more work because it was just not quite meeting the needs. It wasn't that it wasn't meeting the needs, but slowly I saw that dial keep coming back further and further, and I realized we were just not cutting it.
Married, right?
Married with 4 kids.
4 kids. There you
Yep.
go. That's the great equalizer right there, brother.
That's it.
4
Yep.
children.
Yep.
Okay.
So, the bills kept piling up. So I went online, saw an ad for Family First Life, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm not doing anything in the evenings. Why not I just take the course? I said, what the heck? It's free. So
I remember I talked to you, it was like
yeah.
pandemic had just hit. And I remember you saying, I said, dude, sales are up. He's like, I want to get in on the action.
Exactly.
Why? I mean, pandemic screams life insurance.
Well, and I kept on seeing that it does scream life insurance, and it was the prime moment to take it. In fact, I took my exam days before they closed it down, like 2 days before they closed it down. So anyways, I passed, which was awesome, and got contracted and everything, and I decided to run part-time. So first deal, I bought, let's see, it was $400 worth of leads, and the first appointment was $424, I think. First appointment.
Annual.
First appointment.
Annual or monthly?
No, it was annual.
I was like, I don't remember the 424
Yeah.
month.
Yeah, no,
I feel like I don't remember that.
No, it was annual.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's
and
some confidence right there, though, right? 100%.
hey, I went into the
How many
first
leads from $400?
It was like, I don't even remember. I can't even remember. I would say it's probably like 40, 50 leads.
Okay, so one lead created all your money back, and then
Oh, yeah.
everything else was
Yeah.
upside.
And it was the first appointment.
Correct, that's
So-
correct. Yeah, you never forget when you saw your first appointment.
No, you don't. You absolutely don't.
No.
And I was like, dang, I got this. and it went well. Next weekend I went out and I didn't get anything up until the last appointment, by the way. And I wrote 3,500. So anyways, it was really cool. So I was doing part-time, but I found it hard to get with the carriers and learn the stuff and find out the underwriting and stuff with it. So I said, as soon as I can, I want to get in full-time.
What triggered the full, like, how did you get to the point?
I knew I was going to go.
How long did it take you to officially go full time?
I looked at the numbers and I said, I got to suck really bad in order to make this not work. Okay, I got to suck really bad. I mean, seriously, I got to be able to not sell 2 policies in 1 month to not make this work.
Got it.
Okay, so I said, all right, so if I just up my activity
Yeah.
and I give it my all,
Yeah.
give it 100%, why couldn't I do what like everybody else is doing? Everybody else. I mean, there's tons of people doing it.
Now, that's the confidence we want you to have when you quit your job. I couldn't give him that confidence.
No, and we had that conversation.
Right, I couldn't give him that confidence when he first bought his set of leads. He had to have that. So if you're part-time, the confidence comes from, hey, I've had some success. What if I took this from, how many appointments were you running part-time?
It was probably about 11 or 12.
11 or 12 a week, so you were running the weekends, right?
Mhm, yep.
Okay, what dates did you dial
I would dial Thursday and Friday.
for Saturday and Sunday?
Yep.
So
I'm sorry, wrong. Wednesday and Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
Saturday, okay,
Yeah.
got it. So,
But it was only in the evenings. I'd only do it in the evenings.
got it.
Yeah, 5:30 to 9.
And Friday, what time did you start running?
I'd start running 8 o'clock or what have you.
Oh, you had the day off Friday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, got it. So this is kind of how everybody's part-time situation is going to be different. So you have to figure out how you're going to go from part-time to full-time based on where you're at with work, right? So your situation was different, and then you got confidence doing that, and then you decided,
I think I did it 2 months. That's
yeah,
it.
2 months. But he looked at what was his opposition versus what was his upside, and that's how he made the decision. And when someone's that convicted, I don't get in the way. I mean, I do want to know, are you sure? Like, is the money right? Is everything, do you feel what you, like, does it make sense? And then if they say yes, then I just kind of get out the way. It's their conviction. I'm not going to sit here. So that was great.
Yeah.
So then you go full time.
So I gave some 2-week notice and went full time, and I just completely pushed everything aside. I had clients and customers from my other job. I kept my same phone, and I would talk to them occasionally, but I just pushed everything aside and just went in all the way. And my biggest enemy, I'm just going to share this. My biggest enemy is attitude. It's not action. It's not activity. It's attitude. And what I've realized is the growth that I have experienced personally from this business is more than I've ever experienced from any other business.
Wow, that's fast.
I mean, that's huge.
That's huge.
It really is. And, I've had people around me, my wife and everybody, who have really tried to get me to do and become the type of person that I need to be. But this business here, I mean, it just blew the doors off and got me going fast.
Why do you think that is?
Well, a couple things. I found that I knew there were people coming behind me who were going to be quitting their jobs and starting full-time or even starting part-time. And so I felt like I had a responsibility to them to give it my all. That was huge. That was a huge reason. The other reason is because I knew that I had to change attitude in order to get money for my family. I mean, it's just reality.
That's what it is.
And so, it's a muscle that you have to keep building. Is keep that attitude positive. So.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I think like we're all working on that, right? Like, you miss 3 in a row, you want to bang the car steering wheel, So I think that's an adjustment. But the fact of the matter is the acknowledgement of it and the fact that you're looking to make a change. So how long did it take you to ramp up to full-time activity once you went full-time? What did that activity start to look like?
I mean, I was running 15 to 20 appointments every 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's
Why?
Yeah.
Why was it so urgent?
I knew
There's
that-
people tuning in. There's people
Okay.
in this room that they want to make the money, but they struggle with that urgency. Why was that so urgent for you?
Because I knew that if I didn't put enough appointments on the books, I wouldn't have enough policies coming in.
Got it.
So I know that with sales, it's a numbers game. And so I knew that if I did not put enough chances out there, then I wouldn't see enough return. And also double that because you're new. Okay, so you're gonna go into a home. You're gonna think you can't write them. You can find out later. Oh, I could have written them,
Yeah,
and you just lost out on a
that's good.
$1,500 sale.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to go above and beyond. I mean, Carlos. 12. He can get away with 10,000. But he's been doing it for a while.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's not that we're trying to get away with just 10,000, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I remember talking to Steve Giordano early, and he would always say, I was working somewhere, and now I own my own business. There's no way in the world I'm gonna be able to put in the same amount of work that I was putting at a job, now owning my own business and I want to make X and multiple on what I was making at my job. He's like, it doesn't even make sense. And that was very early. And as he was saying, I was like, that makes 100% sense. Now I look at it, he wasn't messing around. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's freaking $1.1 million in.
He's off the charts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, issue paid, personal. Every time I think of that, my heart goes Jesus. But I get it. Like, you're new, this, that, and the third. It's like, how could I not give it everything I have? Because I can't. I want to not fail. I want a high ceiling, high floor, so that I don't fall through the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And I was having success with booking appointments, but what I wasn't having success with was getting to meet everybody. And that's
getting
because
to see everybody.
Okay. Sitting with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I was doing was I'm coming by, you good, okay, cool. And putting the phone down, not quite like that, but essentially. And then I get there and nobody's there. So double up on those times, like he says, that's key. So yeah, I mean, every day's a learning experience, but.
Cool. And then with that type of activity, you obviously started to create confidence.
Oh yeah, when I saw
where did
him,
those aha moments start coming and the lights start coming on like, oh shoot, this is like.
so it takes time for I didn't see that situation where if I sell something, all of a sudden my bank account looks glorious.
Yeah.
It took a month or two.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I saw that one dang on check come through, then it was like, okay, that was just 2 months of income right there. And I just got it. So if I just keep doing what I did, I'm going to get it maybe 2 or 3 times a month. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just put our family in such a much better position now.
That's crazy.
It really is.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's, okay, so I got to share this. When I was working in Montana, okay, as a ranch hand, I made $14,000 in 1 year. Okay? 2 weeks ago, I made $14,000 in 1 week. Okay? There you go.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? I don't care if they're tactical. I don't care if they're philosophical or mindset. Yes.
When you going into a business, right? I mean, going to somebody's home. When you look at the house that you're going into, whether it's a young person or an older person,
Okay.
do you already
Wrap this up with any questions? That question you had, good time to ask.
do you have a mindset that's different from a younger person to an older person, what you want to set them up with, or is it pretty much just the same?
The mindset should stay the same.
No, as far as the policy, like when you look at a younger person, like you know what I'm going to
Absolutely.
This. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Like if I was sitting with an older person, I primarily do final expense. I have occasionally done some mortgage protection, but I primarily do final expense. And so with final expense, I mean, the health situation's different. And most of the time they're looking for anywhere from 30, 40 grand. Okay. Whereas a younger person, you want to set them up for a situation, and I've just recently learned this, but you want to set them up for a situation where they're building some cash value, if possible, in their lifespan. And you also want to protect their family and their house if they have a mortgage. So the numbers need to be much greater for protection because of that. But I would, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And so what I've also experienced is that you don't want to put someone in a position where they outlive their money. So what I mean by that is if I was to get somebody a 30-year term mortgage, 30-year term insurance, then, and they're 50 years old, they're going to be 80, right? They're going to be 80 years old. Now, have you looked at the price of insurance at 80 years old? Nobody's going to buy insurance at that age. So you want to think ahead for them because they're not thinking about it. All they hear is 100,000 or 200,000. That's all they hear.
Okay.
And so you want to think for them, what are they going to be at the end of that term? Are you putting them in a situation where they're not going to be able to afford any insurance? Because I mean, that's not only are they not going to be able to afford it, but they're probably not going to be able to get it because of their medical conditions and such.
Okay.
So generally, anyone over 50 should be getting whole life. Generally, not always, but whole life or universal life.
Okay.
Anyone under 50 should be getting term.
Okay.
Am I right,
That's
everybody?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Any other questions that we have?
My question is as far as you're tying down your appointments, what are you doing differently now than what you were doing at the beginning?
Okay, so that's a great question. So at the beginning, it was, hey, this is Stephen. I'm calling about the information you were requesting about protection for your family. And I just wanted to get in touch with you. I'm going to be in that area tomorrow and between 3 and 4. Would that work for you? Okay, so now what did I just do there? I just basically jumped from 1 to 10 with no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the middle. Okay. And what ended up happening is, number one, they just heard my name. That's about it. And that I'm coming over. They're scared out of their mind. I had one lady call me and she says, "Don't you ever call come by my mom again," all this stuff. And so, like I said, I'm a straight shooter. Well, you can't shoot that straight because you have to give them some information about it. So following the scripts that FFL provides is phenomenal. And but like he does, throughout the script, pop back to if they've said they're gonna be available at that time, pop back to that. So then say, "Hey, so what color is your house? Is it yellow? Oh yeah, it's yellow. Okay, so I'll be there and I'll be driving such and such vehicle. And you said that was it. What time did you really say again?" And ask them to repeat back to you because that solidifies it in their head.
Right.
And then continue talking to, say, "Okay, so is it easy to find on the GPS?" You just come up with these things. Just you want to keep the conversation a little bit longer than just a quick, "Hey, I'm coming by," because that locks it in for them in their mindset. And guess what? When 3 o'clock rolls around, they're going to remember 3 o'clock. Oh, what was supposed to happen? Oh yeah, that guy's coming by. And so then as you're about to get off the phone, end it with, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. The last word you said was 3 o'clock. So, and I'm still working on it myself, so don't feel bad. But any other questions anybody else might have?
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the last appointment you make during the week and on the weekend?
That's a great question. So last appointment I make is typically, the latest I've done is 7. Now, I'm running final expense. I'm not running mortgage protection. Mortgage protection means most of the people are working. So if you want to do both, put your mortgage protection at the latter part of the day so you can run to 7, 8, maybe 9, and put your final expense at the beginning or middle of the day.
Correct.
And that way you can just jam it all in there as much as possible.
Nobody works 9 to 5 anymore.
Nobody works 9 to 5 anymore. So, and that's the same thing when you're calling. Think about that when you're calling too, because as you're calling these appointments, if you call this guy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and, look at his age and his date of birth is 1988, chances are he's not going to pick up. So save that call for a little later, or call it once or twice and then try calling again. Because sometimes people are disabled or you don't know what the situation is. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. When you go into somebody's house, what's the average time that that you have somebody that's going to be interested? And then when you do have that person, you're like, "You know what, I think I got this person." What's the average time that you have everything filled out and get out and go to the next person?
I would say the average time should be 45 minutes. I tend to go a little long at times. Hush your mouth. I have sat for 3 hours before, but I also got the policy, didn't I? Yeah. All right, so there you go.
But usually about 45 minutes to be going to the next person.
Yeah, I mean, hour is probably the best shot of time that you should figure. So let's talk about booking appointments. So I have in the past I was booking every 2 hours.
Love that.
Well, how many can you get in a day? 6, 7, maybe? Okay, if you do that. So what ends up happening is you go to 2 of those appointments and they're not even there. One guy says, "I don't want to talk about it right now," so you reschedule it. So how many did you sit with? 3, right? There you go. Double book, or at least go back to back every hour.
Back every hour. That's it.
Back to back every hour. And then what you do is, I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you call the client when you're with another client and tell them that you're late?
No, I do not.
Okay. You just go right to it.
Go right to it.
Okay.
What I do is that if I go back to back,
Mhm.
I go like 30 minutes to 1 hour early to the first appointment. So if I told them that I was going to
There
be
you go.
there at 8, I'm there at 7.
I like
That gives me leeway, gives me time for me to run it on time. And if I'm late, I'll be late for like 50 minutes, if that.
And if the client's not sure they want to do it,
Yeah.
that you just told them when to not be there. You have
Correct.
to look at it that way. When you say, "Hey, I'll be there at 3:00," they're thinking to themselves, "Okay, so I got to make sure I'm out of here." So if you're there a little earlier, you
Correct.
catch them. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The late terms is mostly for people older, the older people, right?
When you say late term, what describe it?
That's what you would say that you mostly write up.
Yes. I've been mostly doing final expense. Yes.
Final expense.
Yes,
okay.
final expense. Yeah.
Okay, final expense covers their
Burial. Funerals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and I don't know why I'm doing that. Maybe just because I'm just really wanting to grasp that. A lot of new agents will start with final expense because it's a little bit easier, I guess.
Okay, okay.
A little bit less mind,
Correct.
that has to be put into it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say that's probably why I'm doing it, because I wanted to really. When I started, I didn't have any final expense leads at all in my area. And so I just ran whatever I had, and that was mortgage protection. So I started with mortgage protection, and then I said, I better get an idea on final expense. So that's why I started running. That's what I've been doing since.
And all of that stuff, because I know nothing about the insurance.
Absolutely.
All that stuff is covered during the test that you're taking up on the computer. They teach you all this stuff.
Yeah, through the computer, but also through all the podcasts. Anybody starting out with FFL needs to watch every single podcast they possibly can,
Okay.
because all of this stuff that I'm talking about, FFL systems,
Correct.
it's all the way across the board. Everybody who's doing FFL is doing it, and that's why it's working.
Okay.
So, so all these little tidbits and stuff, you're going to just gain nuggets from any podcast. I mean, any podcast. I've listened to annuities podcasts and come up with ideas for talking to clients and, about some of this stuff,
Okay.
and learning new ideas, techniques and stuff. So,
Okay.
but I like the final expense just simply because,
People want to be home.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be easy money. It can be.
Last question from me.
No, you're good.
Now, are there basic policies that you offer? Because I remember Carlos was telling me this, like 5 to 6 different ones you can go with. But do you go in with like basic ones that you start off with first?
Yeah.
Like
So
your bread and butter.
honestly, the inventory worksheet is what you're going to do first. You're going to stop. This is just how I've been doing it. So you're going to come in. You're going to say, hey, what can I help you with? And you're going to get that information from them, and that'll help as you listen to them. I need to do more of it.
Mhm.
As you listen to them, you'll get more information about what their needs are, and then you'll say, hey, before I can help you, we need to get some information about your medical conditions, your medications, and don't forget the build chart. Don't forget their build, their height, and their weight, because you might have all of those medications and what am I thinking? Medications and medical conditions, perfect, but their build's not in the allowable range.
This
Okay,
is face to face when you're somebody.
this is when you.
Yeah, but you would know. if
But
they're
you would
a big
know
person.
exactly.
Like if you know they're a big person, like Royal News.
There you go.
Basically, you have an idea of what you're
Yes.
going to offer, but you don't know till you sit
Till you
with them
sit down,
and ask them the questions.
Okay.
Well, you have an idea. You know, if a person's 70 years old, I mean, you're not gonna go into the house thinking turn. You know what I mean? There's no way.
Okay. Okay.
See, what you're gonna get is cheat notes. Like, we supply everything. We tell you what to say, how to say it. You'll walk in a house, we don't know what we're walking into. We don't know what's behind that door. They could have had a heart attack 3 years ago. They could have had a heart attack 2 years ago. So on the cheat notes, it's gonna give you just about every medical condition, AFib, aneurysm, alcoholism, A to Z. And it's gonna give you the list of carriers to go to.
So do you give them the list or you ask them the list?
No, you don't give them the list.
Okay, so
That's
you
just
go
something
through.
that's in your head where,
Okay.
the first question is, what I like to say is, after I get to the whole What are you doing here? What could I do for you? What are you looking to accomplish? Who's your benefit? Who are we writing the check out to? Who's your beneficiary? Okay, great. What are you looking to accomplish? Final expense. Start with medications.
Okay.
And it's also big. I wanted to touch on something with you. It's very important to make people laugh on the phone. 100% of the people who call me in my house have no use for me whatsoever. And 90% of the people calling me are robocalls. They're machines. They're not live voices. So when somebody hears a live voice, like, hey, what's your name?
Sinead.
Hey, Sinead, this is John Mazzella. How are you? I'm doing very well. How are you? Like, people aren't used to hearing that. They're used to hearing,
Press 1.
yeah, or, I know for me, it's who's trying to sell me Viagra? Who's trying to extend the warranty on my car?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same people calling me all the time. And I'm 51. People that are 69, 70 years old that just fill out everything, plus AARP, they're getting like 30 calls a day. So for them to pick up the phone and hear a live voice, that's A. B, what he was saying before, you kind of want to get a little bit deep as far as, hey, you filled out this life insurance form, blah, blah, blah. I don't see here whether you use any form of tobacco. Do you smoke? No. Yes, I do. Okay, do you plan on quitting anytime soon? You ask that because we do have a carrier that will give you a non-tobacco rate. But, you want to ask certain questions to separate yourself from everybody else in the world. And you want to have a little bit of a conversation where they remember who you are and why you're coming. And not just, oh, the insurance guy's coming. I tell them numerous times, my name is John Mazzella, my name is John Mazzella, my name is John Mazzella. So, but we'll give you everything you need. Like, I can't tell you, I've been doing this since 2011. From 2011 to 2018, I was all over the place. I can't tell you how many people said the same thing. I know nothing about life insurance. Steve Giordano knew nothing about life insurance 2 years ago.
I knew nothing about life insurance.
And the guy's issue paying over $1 million. It just,
When you're feeling, because I heard him say sometimes to make sure they're approved. So you're saying that some people that you're filling out the paperwork, they won't get approved for it?
well, you pretty much know based on their medications. Like,
Some people don't want to be honest.
give you an example. He texted me yesterday or the day before. Actually, he texts me every day this week, but that's all right. I try to.
Yeah, I do.
And he wrote this big Bible, medications, height and weight, this, and inside there was like AFib 6 months ago. You just have to know, like, you have to pick up, like, I had an AFib 6 months ago, and there's really not much you could do. But if it was over 18 months ago, then you know what carrier you're gonna go to. If it's over 2 years ago, you know what carrier you're gonna go to. You just pick up on these things. You're not gonna learn everything overnight.
But these are tidbits that you pick up on.
Yeah, and you're gonna have everything in black and white. You're gonna have everything in front of you. Like when I walk into a home, I put out my underwriting guideline book that's like this thick. I open it up. I'm like, what's up? Let's go. What are we doing?
And after you get the information about their health and stuff like that, this is what I did when I first started. I didn't say I was new at this because you don't want to seem.
Yeah.
I did it one time in one job and it worked, but this is different. I don't want to come to a guy and say, "Hey, I'm new at this." Now,
Right.
I can say, I'm still learning things from people I sit with and
Right.
such like that.
Right.
There's ways to say it, but what I would do is I would say, just give me a couple minutes and I'm going to see what you can qualify for.
Okay.
And at that moment, I'm pulling out that cheat sheet.
Okay.
I'm looking at it
Okay.
and I'm checking. I'm saying, okay, he said he had a heart attack 2 years ago. We should be good.
With this, and this. We're not good with mutual, but we'll be good here. People come in.
Okay.
Just remember, 90% of this business is mindset. 10% is, how old are you?
53.
Do you smoke?
No.
You're in good health, right?
Yeah.
Here's your rate. That's product knowledge. Like, it's that simple. Everything's on your computer, on your phone.
But see, that's the whole
Okay.
point. You don't want to focus only on that. You want to really drive home while you're there, right? Am I right?
What do you mean?
You don't want to be sitting there and it's taking all this time thinking about, wait, let's just check this rate, let's check that rate, let's check that rate.
No, I mean, you have a decision you have to make. If somebody's extremely healthy, you have a decision you want to make. It's like, you either gonna go here, you're either gonna go here. And I'm not gonna mention names of carriers, you pick and choose who you want to. But Mutual of Omaha has the best rates. Eagle has their advantages. Mutual of Omaha strict. You know, I go into a home and I'm like, listen, Carlos, I'd love to put you at Mutual of Omaha, but they're pain in the neck. They're strict. So I'm gonna ask you some medical questions. You know, the more information you give me, the more I can help you, and just dissect everything.
But if you had it your way, you would go Mutual Omaha, because that's what you prefer. You like from,
I like Mutual of Omaha honestly because nobody could come in next week and sell them a policy that's cheaper. But then again, I'm confident about myself where they're not inviting anybody into their house because they got me covered.
that's right.
But then again, everybody's your best friend until somebody could save you $20, $30 a month.
Okay,
I've learned the hard way.
there you go. Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'll give you my card also. And
But yeah, I mean, as far as cheat notes, I mean, you should have everything. If you don't have it, talk to Leslie. She'll email it to you.
It's
Talk to
awesome.
Carlos.
I use
But
it every day.
What I like to say, let's say if it's if it's final expense, I tell them, there's no need for you to look further because I looked at different companies, so we gave you the best rate. So don't worry about filling out more applications online. And if it's mortgage protection, I tell them that if you keep getting these letters, you can throw them away because we already took care of
So
it.
that's the control right there.
We already took care of it.
That's
And if
awesome.
somebody calls you, tell them that Carlos took care of it. And that I know they can be pushy at times. Hang up, don't worry. I tell the company that make sure that they don't call you anymore.
That's right.
I'm your agent from now for life. From now in life, and that's it. And if any barbecues you got going on, make sure to, I'm serious. Tell me like that. Make sure to invite me.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah,
what you do.
yeah, with it. Yeah, that's right.
but it's really, I mean, product knowledge is not hard.
Okay.
Just walk into a house, have a conversation, absorb all the information, let them talk, let them give them all the information they have, and just take it from there. If somebody had cancer 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, they were about done, right? Well,
Yep.
Sure.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so